The Mishkan has three coverings. They're all described in Parshat Vayakhel once again. Vayasu chocha chamlev be'osam lacha et hamishkan esir riot sheish morzar utchilet v'argaman v'lad shani kruvim maaseh choshev asa utam. The inner layer is made out of various fabrics of resplendent colors, and there are designs of kruvim that are woven into them. And there are 10 such pieces, and they are placed on top of the Mishkan. On top of that, the second layer, Vayas yiriot izim le'ohel al hamishkan, ashte esrei yiriot asa utam. The second layer is described as an ohel on top of the Mishkan, and that ohel is made out of coarse black wool that comes from goats. And there are 11 such sections that will be attached together and placed on top. And on top of that, a third layer, described further along, Vayas michse la'ohel, a covering on top of the tent. And this covering, what is it made of? Orot elim odamim michse orot techashim milamala. It's made of animal hides. Explains Rav Yaakov Meidan, the Rosh Yeshivat Har Etzion. The inner layer, that's about building a home. That's the Mishkan itself, the connection that we have to Ribbon Sha'olam. And there are colors, and there is our work of weaving things together in order to make that covering. That's the inner layer. But the outer layers would make it appear from afar, if you were looking at the Mishkan, as if you were looking at Lahavdol, a tent of Bedouins. It's the tent of the shepherds, or rather the tent of the shepherd in the singular. And he draws out this idea that we're meant to understand that the Mishkan out in the field with the Jewish people in the Midbar, wherever they are, on the journey to Eretz Yisrael, and at the beginning in Eretz Yisrael, is about the shepherd who fights to save his flock from anyone who wants to attack the flock. The word ro'eh, he points out, is also like the word trua, which means to break something, a broken sound, so breaking, a trua, the ro'eh. And that's the individual who is going to hold enemies at bay or get rid of them if they try to attack Hashem's flock. And those are the ro'im that have been sent, the Zayin Ro'im, the 7 shepherds that are described in Sefer Micha. And indeed, Yaakov Avinu was a shepherd, David HaMelech was a shepherd. When David HaMelech speaks to Shaul and wants to prove his bona fides before going out onto the battlefield against the Plishtim and their main fighter, Goliath, he says to Shaul, "V'yomer David al Shaul, ro'eh haya avdecha le'aviv bit batzon, uvahari v'hadov v'nasase me'ha'eder." He describes how he was a shepherd for his father, and sometimes a lion or a bear would come and pick up one of the lambs from the flock to kidnap it, to abduct it, to take it captive in order to destroy it. And what does he say? V'yatzati acharav v'kitiv v'yitzalti mipiv. I ran after it. I went out, I struck it, and I saved the lamb from the mouth of that enemy. And indeed, that is a main message of the Ohel that covers the Mishkan. There's the Mishkan, the Ohel, and the Michseh on top of the Ohel. And these layers from outside tell us about what it means to be out in the field. Indeed, the Ribbon Shalom describes to David HaMelech later on, when David is already sitting in Yerushalayim as the king, and that message is a message we can take for ourselves today. And our chayalim who are bashetach, whether in the north or the south, should recognize that Kosh Baruch Hu is the Hashem Ro'i Lo Echsar, is with us even out there on the battlefield. Shabbat shalom and vorach.